Oh, that's a very easy question. My favorite planet is planet Earth. And why? Because it's the only place that is known to us in the whole universe where us humans can live and survive. And it's a very small, tiny, and, well, a very fragile place.
So, meine Leute, mal eben schnell das Intro aufnehmen. Hier der ARISS-Schulkontakt zwischen Alexander Gerst an Bord der Internationalen Raumstation und Teilnehmern eines Sommercamps von einem Technik- und Wissenschaftsmuseum in Kanada. Dieser Kontakt geht über Telefonbrücke, weil sonst könnten wir das ja hier in Europa gar nicht empfangen, nämlich wieder über unseren Italiener India Kilo One Sierra Lima Delta. Ja, will gar nicht so viel erzählen, ihr kennt das Prozedere wahrscheinlich. Ja, wünsche euch viel Spaß dabei, hier die Funksignale von der Internationalen Raumstation zur Erde mit Alexander Gerst am Mikrofon. Also, viel Spaß dabei und ciao, bis zum nächsten Video. Schaut mal wieder rein.
Hello, yes, we do a lot of experiments up here. Actually, we have more than 100 that we will do in the half year that I'm up here. One of them is very interesting. We just finished last week, and that was about burning different materials in space. And by observing the flame, we learned a lot about how fire behaves, and we can actually use that knowledge on Earth to build better materials that burn less easily, and that increase fire safety and build better fire extinguishers back on Earth. And that's just one example of the many experiments that we have up here. Oh, that's a very good question. We have a lot of robots up here on the space station, right? Today I had a training class with my crewmate, Reed Wiseman from the US, and we are training to release with a robotic arm, and that's actually the Canadian robotic arm, the Canadarm. We are training to release a visiting cargo vehicle that is docked with the space station. We will grab that vehicle with that arm and then release it so it can fly away from the space station and enter the atmosphere, where it will burn up with all our trash that we loaded into that vehicle. And that's just one of the many robots that we have up here on the space station. Oh, that's a very easy question. My favorite planet is planet Earth. And why? Because it's the only place that is known to us in the whole universe where us humans can live and survive. And it's a very small, tiny, and, well, a very fragile place. Oh yes, usually it is quite nice to sleep in space, because you don't have to wake up in the middle of the night and turn around because you've laid on your arm and it's all numb. That doesn't happen in space because you don't touch, well, any wall. But sometimes, like on Earth, I don't sleep so well, sometimes I sleep better. And the dreaming is, I think, pretty much the same as back on Earth. You know what I found scariest is actually looking at Earth and realizing that this atmosphere that we think is so huge that surrounds us, that shell of air that we breathe down on Earth, it's scary to see how thin that actually is and how fragile. It looks like if I took a big breath and blew down there, I could blow it all away at once. So the space station was built by many different countries, 15 actually, and all these countries sent their astronauts to fly on the space station. So there's many different nationalities up here. Right now we have Russians, we have Americans, me as a German is up here, and then right after I fly, we will have an Italian astronaut, and then a French astronaut, and then a British astronaut. So all the countries that built the space station will eventually have one of their astronauts fly. Well, Carter, I think that depends on if you don't like math because you're good at something else, then I don't think that's a bad thing. And if it's something else that, well, you don't need math, then that's fine. But if you want to become an astronaut, then you certainly need math. Up here, we use that a lot because math is basically the language of physics. Well, we use it as a tool. So anytime we want to describe anything in physics, or how our Earth works, or even how a spacelet flies through space, we need a lot of math to calculate that. So I didn't like particularly math at school either, because I didn't quite know yet what I will use it for. But now that's really obvious to me, and when I started studying physics and geophysics, I really liked using math, because all of a sudden I realized that it's really good to know and to have. Well, that varies every single week. Last week I saw a television series and somebody ordered pizza, so suddenly I really miss pizza. But this week it might be something else. Actually, I would like to have a barbecue right now. That would be a great thing. Well, flying into space is difficult from the beginning, and it's fascinating. So if you have an engineer, you have to have a really brilliant and good engineer to build a rocket in the space station. So when you have all these engineers and they work on that project, of course they really like doing that. And then there's a lot of other good things that come out of that, what they build. So we have a lot of technology that comes out of space technology that we can use otherwise on Earth. So space travel actually, well, keeps engineers in place and keeps them busy doing something very useful, something that, well, if we didn't have them, we wouldn't have satellite television, we wouldn't have navigation systems in our cars, we wouldn't have a weather forecast. All that comes out of the space technology. Then so many women were in space that I don't even know the exact number. Too many to count for me right now, and that's a good thing. We hope it's getting even more because, of course, there's still more men flying than women, but that's because more men apply to be astronauts than women. So since we know that women are also really good astronauts, just as good as men, it would be good if more women apply. And actually, I'm looking forward to my new crewmate that's visiting us up here in September. That's Elena Serova. It's a Russian woman, a Russian female cosmonaut, and a very nice person. On the space station, you have to do everything that you can imagine. You have to be an engineer, a scientist, a janitor, a doctor, a spacewalker, and all you could possibly imagine, because we have to manage this place and run it all on our own here. We get a lot of help from the ground, from people, from the teams that help us out with electronic commands, but all that we need to do with our own hands, we need to be able to do. I hear you loud and clear. How do you copy? Before I became an astronaut, I was a geophysicist. I looked at volcanoes. I wanted to explore them to find out how they work. And that was my profession back then, and I was actually really happy doing that. Astronaut is even a better job, of course, so I would be a volcanologist if I hadn't become an astronaut. I cannot hear you anymore. It was great to talk to you. All the best to Ottawa, and well, have a great day. This is the International Space Station out.
Amateur Radio on the International Space Station. Ja, und jetzt sehen wir hier das rauskommt. Jo, ich danke mal fürs Zugucken und tschüss. It's so great to talk with you. Ein direkter Funkkontakt zwischen der internationalen Raumstation